Alrighty. Hope this is all set up and working. Looks like we are. Alright, today we're going to finish up the missing parts of this nativity set. As you can see, somebody is very conspicuously missing here. So I'm going to start by mixing up some of the clay I had. I only had a little bit of that brown mixed left, so I'm just going to mix it right together with this flesh color that I had and make a little bit more of the good consistency in between. And then I'm going to save some of this. I still have some. Actually, I might as well show you what happens when you mix this with the gray, because I want to get a little bit of softer gray. So I'm just going to take one piece of it, maybe that piece I was messing with earlier. It's a little flat, but you can see how brittle it was. It never really joined that well. So I'm going to take it and merge it with this lighter, softer color. And actually, I might as well take some from this one too, because I need more of that. Whatever. I think that'll be enough. So I'm just going to fold it. Let me get this right. There we go. Get this on one. So when I'm doing that, I say one, I'm talking about the numbers that are up there. See those different numbers? You line it up with the little peg. Christmas went well, by the way. Presents I made were well received, and I'm actually making a few more of those little frames for fun. So you can see it's already starting to mix. It'll take a few turns to get this through, and once it keeps marbleizing and mixing, but eventually you'll actually feel the difference. It'll start to get the properties will trade over. It'll get somewhere in between. It may be slightly more pinkish gray, but you really won't notice much. The darker color pretty well takes over. And these little crumbs, they're not worth saving sometimes. I just pretty frugal with this stuff, but at some point I'm just like, all right, it's not worth all the dust that comes with that crumbs, so I'm not gonna waste time picking every little piece of dust out. So you can see it's already starting to disappear, that pink color. There you go. I don't know if you can tell the difference on camera, but if I compared it to the original gray, which I do have over here, it's almost imperceptible, the difference. Very, very similar color, but now I have a slightly softer gray, which will be nice. So I'll use this color for the swaddling blanket, and maybe the hair? I don't know, I'm not sure. I like just having the color contrast while I'm doing it sometimes. When you do everything in one color, it can be hard to tell what it's going to look like painted sometimes. So having that contrast is quite useful. I might get into making some more colors just for that. Now I have done it a few times in the past. I had some yellow and orange and red mixed, and I was doing those little space imposters, and those are fun. They worked, but I'm thinking maybe for some more serious things as well. But and why not for cartoon stuff? All right, now I'm just going to roll this thinner to make it easier to handle. Again, but I pretty much have the consistency that I want. Let's see, on my thingy there. You can see how smooth that is. It's quite nice. So I'll be able to warm that up pretty easy. Might as well go to 6. Oh my god, I hate this. Okay, so again, the little crumbs, not worried about them. Little hairs, I'll get out if there are any later, but I've got a real nice soft piece of clay now. And if I'm going to use it as a blanket, why not? I've already got a piece rolled out. I don't even have to deal with anything else. I'll just literally wrap it around. And, you know, if I want to make it look realistic, which I do a little bit, I'll make the arms and legs and in a really rough state, and then be able to wrap the blanket around in a nice way instead of it just looking like a little worm. It'll actually look like a baby in a cloth, which I think will be nicer. It's the least I could do. So again, I'm just going to fold it over itself. These two were pretty close in consistency, so they should mix relatively quickly and easily. Since it was the original color that I use as a base for this. Just tinted it. Oop, got a little gray in there. Little crumbs will pick up from the bottom of the rollers. You can clean it out, but sometimes it'll build up eventually, depends on how soft your clay is. But if you see like streaks of clay coming off, and you may want to take it apart. Now, if you've never taken things apart, then obviously don't do it. But there's only a few screws. I've taken it apart a few times over the years. I never had issues getting it back together. They're made pretty well and simply. As you can see, it's mixed pretty well. So now I have a nice big sheet again, and a little bit bigger, so I can do the shawl from Mary first, and then at least I have that piece ready to go. One piece. Last time there wasn't quite enough clay. Alright, looks like we're pretty good there. Just looking for imperfections since I'm going to be using this in one sheet, one off. May want to go one more time. Let me just cut a piece off and save it. It's a little too wide to go through sideways, so I'm just going to cut it off there. If only you could make it just a little bit thinner. The difference between 1 and 2 is quite significant, and I don't really want to go down to 2. As much as I don't like the little bumps. It's just the right thickness, so I really don't want to make it any thinner than that. This little bit of marbling, it's not going to matter as long as this texture is smooth. I should be good to go with this. All right, let's get that done first, and then we'll finish up the baby. So, as we have here, I still have all of these little guys to do, which aren't that bad. Might as well get those done today too. And I almost did this on Christmas Day, but I needed a day off. It was quite a week last week. I haven't done that much recording, I think, ever in a row. So, if anybody's been around here for a while on this channel, you know. It's been a few years. No. Stay there. This cat thinks she's going to jump up here, but I don't need hair in this right now. All right, here we go. Got that. Got this. Let's get this cape cut just right. Now I probably could measure. That would probably be a useful time to get the ruler out. Why not? So first thing I'll do is get the across. I'm just going to roll the ruler across to see. So I want to cover up to there. Yeah, this is what she's doing on the other side. Crazy cat. All right. So I'm just going to roll the ruler across it like this. Should be close enough. Looks like 3 inches around on the bottom, the widest point. And now top to bottom, still can't decide. I still think it'll be easier to just press it in, cut it, and smooth it. Then as long as the back is smooth, the rest of this should be fine. I'm really debating whether to take this arm, to just take this arm off in order to make 2 arms clean and smooth, like I did with Joseph. It's pretty easy to get the 2 arms. It's going to be a lot harder to join onto this one, and I can still use this as reference. And so let's see about that. All right, let me get the length here. So I wanted to come down, and I'm assuming that the paint came right up to it like that. It has to be, right? They painted these afterwards. There's no paint underneath. So after they were fired, they were painted just by hand and glazed with, I'm guessing, a clear paint. Looked like by hand because you can see that under the parts where what that broke off, like here, that's just raw porous terracotta. There's no seal, whereas down here there's seal. All right, I switch my chat over just in case anybody's popping in. Again, I can't see. I haven't quite figured out how to get the list of people participants in. Oh, really, cat? Okay, she's knocking my wire off the table. I missed her after saying she wasn't a knockoff cat, but here she goes. All right, well, this is the wire I need anyway, so joke's on her. All right, let's get this right. It looks like 2.5. 2.5, 2.5. 3. Might as well do 3 just to be safe. So I just need a 3 by 3. A square would be fine, but obviously it's narrower at the top, so I can even just quickly see. Looks like it's 2. Close enough to 2 from front to back. Okay, so a little dusty, but not too bad. So let's start with the bottom, get a nice clean line across. Looks like I can just pinpoint with the ruler and see 3. Go from 1 to 4 instead of 0 to 3. Just gonna do a quick mark. Might as well give it a little extra. Looks about right. Got my marks. And I'm just looking up the piece straight, so, you know, I can eyeball this and be close enough. I don't have to go crazy with a square or anything. I don't think it's going to matter. And it's going to have some play when I lift it up. So I'm pressing the ruler down pretty hard because I don't want to lift it up while I'm doing that. It will get a little tweaked, but I don't want to press too hard and get a big press of the ruler in there. So obviously I'm being a little gentler than just putting all my weight on it. Okay, so I'm going to mark this again just to be sure. Now, if I want to do this really right, I might as well do a little bit of a tweak. Now, I am pressing this on the table on purpose to get a little bit smoother. Hopefully the back side is going to be perfectly smooth enough. I might as well mark the center and try to make this somewhat straight. So If I go by eye, let's say 3 inches up. Again, I don't need to be like perfectly square here. And I know I'm going to taper it in anyway. Got a little silver paint picked up from the table. I tried to clean it off first, but some of it's just stuck. All right, so not a bad way to square. I'll just go half and half. So I got a halfway there. And I want to just do 2 inches at the top plus a little bit, so I'll go 1 inch and an eighth over, inch and an eighth over. Close enough. Got my marks. So I'm flipping the ruler so that I get a nicer, flatter press, but the more I think about it, the more I don't want to get that edge creasing and pressing in there. So I'm going to use the cork side to just be a little gentler with it. Now it will pick up a little bit of the edge more because I'm not holding it down with the ruler, but if I'm careful with it, it should be okay. It cuts pretty easy. And I don't want to scratch or cut in my table, obviously, so I'm, did I lose my mark? No, that's it. Like stretching it in that direction didn't work so well, so I'm going to try going in this way. There we go. Yeah, it's a little better. All right, and then this top part, I'm going to cut a little extra anyway because I know I'm going to cut it off. So I'm just doing that by eye. And there we go. I should have my piece. Just do a quick check. Yep. More than enough. Lots extra. All right, that'll be great. So that's my piece for her head. Now the arms. This is good. I got plenty left over because I mixed it with the other clay. So that'll be nice for the body of the baby, and I can even use it for her arms if yeah, might as well. I like the brown clay anyway. It's really nice. It's almost the terracotta color anyway. I practically just want to mix that almost. If I mixed it down with a little more flesh, I'd probably get pretty close. As you can see, the colors aren't too different from each other. I kind of like the look of it. So I'm going to see what I can do here. I'm trying not to break my tool, so maybe I shouldn't use the thinnest end of this, as I've done in the past. Broken tool. Eventually I'll learn. After how many years? Oh, there we go. So as you can see, these are barely stuck on there. It looks like they do a little bit. Maybe they have a peg of some sort. It burns away. They might have a little peg inside the clay that just goes on there. So I'm going to finish taking that off. Let's see. Don't want to break her hair, although yes, I do actually. See, again, this little bit on the end, to try to join a little piece onto there is not going to be worth it in the end. It looks very easy color-wise, so I'm actually just going to pop this off as well. There you go. Yeah, these are barely bonded. That's why they break. That's part of the thing with ceramics, right? I really don't want to tool up this side, so I'm doing my best not to push against that. So some of it's joined, obviously. There's a point where it's stronger than others. Maybe I'll get one of these in there. I'm not cutting into myself. There it goes. That's good enough. And this back side, never be seen. It's going to be completely covered. So as long as the front can be cleanly joined, I think I'll be all right. And I can see here the glaze, where the glaze comes down and ends, that it's quite obvious that her arms were in that position. And there's her elbow join, and maybe a drop, it looks like a drop of that blue paint got peeled off with the crack. So it probably came right to there. And that's definitely a paint peel. I love these little paintings. So cute. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to doing this. This pattern, you can see the layers of the colors. It's going to be really easy to recreate as far as figuring out how they did it, but a good exercise. I think it'll be really fun. I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, let's see if we can get the rest of this off without breaking her. Making me nervous. See, what I'm really debating is whether or not to take off this whole thing, because I really don't want to, though. I kind of like keeping the paint and all of the stuff at the top, so that's not going to be that bad of a joint. I'm going to leave it, because you can see that it comes back on the one side even, a little forward more on this side. I want to leave that. All of this glue, that must be the clear cover. Yeah, it's the clear paint. Doesn't want to come off. And I could get a clamp out and crush it a little bit with pliers even. I don't know. I just kind of don't want to destroy it either. Let me see if this works. Oh yeah. There you go. Get it nice and clean first. Yeah, that worked really well. I'm just gonna do a little scraping. Sorry if it triggers anybody's noise, misophonia. I happen to also really not like certain noises, but somehow I can tolerate it if I'm doing it. I don't know why. Beautiful. All right, here we go. So that is nice and clean and ready to go. I'm going to have a much easier time joining that up. Oh, I don't like what they did to her nose. Just a little off. It looks like an original tool mark. I mean, it's not bad. I just wish it were more symmetrical. But I guess it gives it some character too. Since I'm going to be touching up paints, I kind of just want to fix this. Can't stop fixing things. So just doing a very light carve. Really careful, because any hard press is going to snap into there or slip across. So there we go. Just giving her a little bit of symmetry in the nostrils. Cute little eyes. Like these. So that's really nice. Okay. Yeah, and they could use a little touch-up everywhere. As you can see, there's a few chips here and there. All right, this one is ready to go. If you remember from the last one, obviously, this Joseph, very, very similar in shape, which I love. Came out super well. Quite happy with him. His hair is super cute. Little hat, little bag. For sure got all the elements that are traditionally in these. All right, here we are. So we'll come back to her. Or, maybe I should finish something I started, huh? All right, let's see if we can get this back together then. Not that I need it back in one piece. I'm just trying to get a overall sense of the volume of it. Huh, the wrong piece, I'm missing a piece. Nope, that's from the hair. It's from the top, I thought. Oh, that's the top of the hair. There it is. It's missing a piece somewhere. I'm just going to throw a tiny bit of glue in there and get that back, only for the fact that I want to see the volume. I find it helpful to have the mass in one piece, and just because it'll only take a second. Yeah, this glue, not the best glue. Bottle, it of course fused. Leave one drop on the lid and it fuses with the container, and then we have to break it off practically. See if I can not block it with my head. Be really careful with something porous like this. You put crazy glue down, it'll bond in a second, so be ready. You don't need much. And you will stick your fingers to it if you're not careful. No, it's either too much or not enough. But this will really help. Being able to see the volume of clay in one piece like that, it's really gonna help. So yeah, let's get her some arms. I don't like seeing her broken like this, so I'm gonna finish her up. Then we'll do a little baby. And then that'll be the set. Oh, no. I missed an arm. Did it fall off? Oh yeah, it just fell off. I have an arm. I couldn't remember if I did one for the girl. Alrighty. Trying to get the powder off my fingers. That's definitely enough for 2 arms. Are we streaming still? Oh, yeah. So again, I'm just trying to get the air out, but as you can see, this is already super soft and nice, but still got a good firmness. I really like that it's not quite as soft as the fresh clay. I believe they even have a product that is firm flesh colored now. I haven't actually had to purchase it in a while. So I have quite a stock of it sitting here for a few years, so I'm reasonably sure I saw it online. So take a look out there. Best thing is to Google, a local sculpting supply place. I know that Toronto has one big place called Sculpture Supply Canada, and then there's all kinds of different suppliers down in the States and different regions. You may have a different kind of clay, but any polymer clay, which is just polymers, multiple chemicals, oil-based of some sort, and bakeable to make it hard. So a relatively low temperature, not a kiln, just a regular oven at 200 to 250 degrees. They say 275 on the box, but the size that I usually work in, I find that burns the tips of small things a little too quickly. So for even the piece that I made in the last couple weeks, I baked it at just under 250 for 10 minutes flat. Totally done. Preheated the oven. Never in the microwave, ever. All right, get a nice piece going here. Now I'm going to clean this table up because this I obviously can't roll in this. So This is always good practice. If you're just starting out with clay, this may seem like a dummy thing from when you were a kid, but you know, try to roll a perfect cylinder. It's not easy. Your fingers are not shaped to do it. But if you get a sense for it and a feel after lots and lots of practice, you know, this can be a really good exercise actually for feeling the clay, making sure you try to roll the most perfect thing, and this honestly translates really well into baking too. I have a really good feel for dough, and I don't know if it's mutually exclusive or just part of the same skill, but it definitely they definitely lend to each other, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, I can get a feel for the texture and the consistency of dough, and if I want to roll something out, I can roll something out pretty smooth. And that's just from me feeling it. I mean, I could do it without looking too if I'm really just doing it unconsciously. Just moving my fingers out, feeling over the surface as I go, and smoothing it. Not that I need a perfectly smooth thing, it's just an exercise for working the tactile skills. Alrighty, here we go. So let's get these arms just right, huh? So as you can see, it gets thinner like I did with the Joseph's arms. The top doesn't need to go all the way up to the top. So I'm going to imagine that that gets squashed down, and I'm also going to make sure that that's the right thickness. It looks like it's still too thick, so I'm going to go down a little bit. So here we go. This is where it gets real interesting. So rolling and pulling apart my fingers as I go, pressing lightly but securely. You can turn one piece into a longer, consistently round piece. You're on your way. So the harder, if I press too hard, I'll start to see finger divots in the roll, but if I just look at them or feel them, I can just go again and smooth it right out. That's pretty close, but look how nice and long it is now. Almost there. Yup. That'll do. Get a little flatter as it gets squashed against the surface, so should be good. Alright, so now I'm going to get a rough length, so I'm going to go like that, pretend that that's the elbow, and then we're going to go like that. And you know what? I'm going to measure off one of the others because they're so similar in size that, I mean, if you look at this, they use the same. Obviously, they weigh out the clay or roll out a ball of the same size. They know exactly how big they're making it. It's the same as this, so I'm going to just measure against this one. A little bit different each time, which kind of gives it a character. So, all right, so there's that. Wrist, a little extra for the hand. Boom. So now I have that marked out. So this is how you want to get two of them twinned and easy the same volume. This is how you do it. Go backwards now. It doesn't really matter if I go backwards, but I'm going to be really consistent. I'll mark the wrist, elbow, cut. There you go. So if I start with those and I sort of do them both to the same level of detail as I go, I should have pretty accurate twinned arms. So while I'm here, I might as well do the press around. I see a better tool for this. Making the noises with my thing. I can't seem to find a longer piece. I'm looking for something that's, you know, a good shape for this. I think this will work. So I want to get a nice cleaner press for the wrist instead of just tooling it up with a sharp tool. I might as well get it just right the first time and be done. See? Done. And as most people who've played with clay before will know, getting this, picking it up and holding it, I'm using a very light touch. I'm being really careful. I will, especially when I go to bend. When I go to bend the arm, I'm going to be real careful with how I hold it. Probably not even do the detail on the hands. Oh, as you can see, it doesn't always line up when you do around a circle like that. Doesn't matter too much, so I'm pressing lightly the first time and then going around it again a little bit firmer. Trying to roll it with the tool, close enough. You're really only going to see half of it ever anyway. So as long as I do the outside half clean, no one will be the wiser. Right. And they're slightly different, of course. It's okay. I kind of like the charm of it being a little bit off, and then I kind of don't. So I don't know. I'm gonna fix it. Try to make it like it's a happy accident, but I don't always want it to be. There we go. That's close enough for me. All right, let's get the elbows bent. Get to redo her hand. Maybe a little too stiff with that gray clay. All right. So the mark for the elbows are there. I'm going to redo them just because I don't want to lose it. Upper arm, we're going to get this out pretty quick here. So I'm going to pretend that's the inside of the elbow, the mark. So I'm going to smush like this, pre-smush sort of the shoulder part. Like I did with the other one. And I'm holding it super light where I'm lifting it. Maybe not enough, but you know what? This is going to be completely covered on the sides, so as long as it looks right from the front, it really doesn't matter if it's exactly the same. All right, let's pretend one is left, one is right. It really doesn't matter at this point because I haven't done the hands yet. What I don't want to be doing is adding clay onto this. I want to try to get it all out of one piece, so I'm going to get in a pretty extreme bend here. So we're going to go like that. This is not the right tool for that. Let me get onto this guy maybe. I'm trying to get a bigger wedge like that. Basically pre-making the part that's going to hinge. And I know the volume is going to change as it goes, so I'm not too worried about how it looks yet. As you can see, there we go. And really all it needs is a little boop and a boop. Oh, looks like that stupid glue on my finger is messing it up. But I'm sure that's all they did. And there's a little bit of tool marks for the cloth part, which again you can just do like this. A couple little tool marks and boom, you got a little cuff. And that's really it. You know, you want the elbow to be point, and then you point it off like that, and look at that, got an elbow. And this part, I don't have to worry about it too much. I don't want to join it too sticky. If you want to simulate a crease, you can do like a second little line there. There you go. Let's get the other one just right. Same. Twinned on the other side. Try to remember what I did. Got my wedge pretty deep. I went about halfway down. At least halfway. Bend. Pretty firm. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Boom. Same size. All right, let's see if we can get these hands. I'm gonna do a nice quick hand. So just smush, smush. Get my mitts. Let's see if I can just do this with my finger. Mitts. Now refine this finger and thumb. See, just a little bit of a tweak, boom, like that. You got a thumb. Doesn't take much. Not for this style, anyway. Now, I'm not sure what she's going to be holding. I believe all the ones I saw, they have some sort of gift. So I'm going to get the rough shape of the mitt first. Pretend like that's the curve of the fingers, the knuckle. Pretty close already. This one I like. See, it's got a bit of a wedge to it. It's not just straight, so it's an even wedge. Should be better for a finger. Got a little too short when I did that, so I'm going to stretch it out very carefully. This one's got a few little burrs on it, so I don't always go back to those wooden tools. This has a little bit of glue on it still. what I'm looking at as reference. I'm just trying to match that style. I don't want to go crazy overboard. No extra details. Okay, we're holding something, and this maybe got a little too long, so I'm going to see if I can't very gently smush it. Again, some of it's going to expand as I press on here, so I'm not going to go to, so it goes up to there. Yeah, that's not too bad. That fits. So as I press in, too powdery. This is a little weird, but I think I'm going to put a little glue on it just to make the surface a little slicker. Because in this case, I don't want the powder to leak in. I'm not really gluing the clay on. In fact, I don't want it to glue at all, so I'm going to let this purposefully dry. I'm trying to do my best not to stick my finger on it again, because I don't want to get glue in the clay. So let's see, maybe a paper towel. I don't really want to stick a paper towel to it either. Oh, there it goes. It's already dry. Pretty quick. Porous surface like that will soak clay right into it. Okay, let's get this on. Okay, I'm not trying to join this right now. I'm trying to get it pressed on so that when I do take it off, I end up with the piece form fitted and ready to bake. So here we go. And a little bit of smushing with my finger is actually going to make it look even more like the original. And yeah, the hand was, you know, was a little bit bigger here and there, but I've got two arms that are the same now, so a lot easier than trying to join one and match another. I didn't want to deal with all that. It might be a little too far forward. Let's see. So it just comes right back off, but you see how I got the shape now. That will key in really nicely when I go to glue it after baking it. Now it lines up with the painting pretty well. All right, let's see what the other arm. I might just put one hand inside the other, which some of these other ones have done. All right, let's get this hand. Again, watch that thumb. Boop. Just that little bit of pinch. Boom. If you really want to make it realistic, you can do that. A little bit for the knuckle, but I'm not going to go crazy. Again, simple. But all these this flat part there, this curve here, the little pinch I just did to make the mint shape helps a lot. Okay, let's use the right tool this time. Measure. A little too much there, so come back. Press. I mean, I'm not really, I don't know what the sound effects mean. I'm not really making a sound effect for what I'm thinking. I'm just sort of doing it. A little press to get the top of the fingers, because I just can't leave it. There we go. debating about the gift, whether I should put, I have to look at a few more sets and make sure. Don't want to be disrespectful. You see this part underneath her hair. It's going to be tricky to get that even. I might have to do something in there, but I think this will work. Again, I'm more concerned about the front than the back because this is going to be completely hidden. It's already getting pretty loose, but as long as I got the right shape. Oh, she looks like she wants to hold something, so. Oh, I can see it was way up there. Yeah, there was definitely something in the middle. All right, I think we're pretty good. Pretty much where I wanted those to be. Now again, that's okay if it falls off because they have to be baked separately. Again, as long as I don't manhandle them too much and there's enough firmness, if I just bake them like this, they should work out exactly for fitting back on where I wanted them. Then I'll glue them and they'll be good to paint. But the main issue is going to be when you bake something like this, the real good trick is to get it out of the oven while it's still a little warm and get it onto the piece and glue it while it's still warm. If you can do that without burning yourself, then you end up with a perfect fit because while it's still warm, it is somewhat bendable still. So if it's not perfectly fit and something got distorted when it was being baked or stacked up or whatever, you can usually get away with it by fixing it. If it's still a little bit flexible like that while you're handling it warm, and glue it before it gets hot. I've even put stuff back in the oven to warm it up just a littlest bit again and gotten away with pretty good fixes that way. If it ended up cooling too fast where it didn't fit again, I would just throw it back in the oven a couple minutes. Boom. Okay, so let me get this hand turned. Another little trick I can do is put the tool in her hand and then turn it like that. There we go. Oh, super sweet. All right, I like that. So that should be ready to go. Now I'm going to get the hair piece in the exactly right size. Kind of have this all ready. Close enough. This is probably the easiest one. Oh. want to make curls. Pretty hair, but it's not going to happen. Can't change the style. You can see the powder just pulls it right off. So that's not going to stick well at all until I bake it and glue it, but I can get the piece just right. Close enough, really. I mean, not even close enough, it's just right. That'll do. Okay, so that one's ready. And I do have a little toaster oven right under me here, so I think I'm going to just bake these pretty much right away. You do want to use a little piece of tin foil. Usually tin foil, aluminum foil will it won't conduct heat for very long, so as soon as you take it out you can pick it up and it won't be hot to the touch, and it'll also keep your piece from burning. So if it's sitting up off of the rack or even a tray, you put it on a tray, it's going to burn on the tray first before it burns anywhere else, so just beware. I think I'm going to glue, I think I'm going to bake and glue the pieces on before I do the top bit. So let's set her aside for now, or I guess we can go ahead and do it. We're about an hour, but no, the oven's not plugged in. All right, let's move on. Let's get all the pieces done, and then we'll bake everything at once, and then we'll come back and put things together. Because I got to do, yeah, Joseph's going to be big. He's pretty big, but I think I can lay him down. Just don't want to get marks on it. I can also sand him a little bit. I'm getting a little marks on just by moving him around and handling him, so got to get him baked so that I don't mess this up. All right, let's keep him handy. He's fun to look at. All right, here we go. All right, you can almost see the outline there. Get the right size. I can shape this piece just right in there. I've got the blanket ready to go. Let's just get to it. I'll try to do this all out of one piece. Carve into it. If I need to carve, he's going to have, let's see, did they have a little hair? I just want to check my reference so that I'm being accurate here. And if anybody wants to Google these, it's a large ceramic or large terracotta Mexican nativity. They're I'm not sure where they originate from, or if that's even limited to Mexico region, but I just want to be accurate and give credit where it's due. I'm not sure the exact family names who make these, but I'm sure it's a very specific group who made this one, and I do appreciate it. I don't know how to track it down, so if anybody does know, please let me know. But otherwise, I'm just happy to let people know that, to find the source, if you want to find a set like this, we were lucky enough to find this in a thrift store, but hence why it's all in pieces. But they are available online. I've seen them as little as $50 for a smaller set, as in shorter, but I've seen them as much as $500. So if you're going to give $500, please give it to the original artist who made it, not some reseller from Etsy who didn't actually make them. The people work hard, I'm sure, and put a lot of time into these. As you can see, they take a lot of time, even just making them in this kind of clay. So that's all. I'll always just say, please, you know, support the source if you can. It's hard enough being an artist for money in general, and mostly why I don't do this for money, because it's just nearly impossible to make a living at it. Alright, looks like I got the right size piece here. I think I got enough. I'm not going to just make all the limbs and then fold them up, because I think that would be a little bit of overkill. But I am going to carve a little bit into it to get the right shape. So the head is usually about that size compared to that. Looks about right. I'm going to pull up my refs again. Yeah, most of them, it looks like all of them, he is definitely in a swaddling cloth, arms in front, so you see maybe one elbow come down. But oof, I'm not so happy with the sculpts on the faces. Hopefully I can do a little better than that. But the heads are about that size, and body goes down. I can do the rest with the cloth, right? I don't need all of it. So let me get a little bit more of the pieces of the body out. So I'm gonna go see what we can do for legs here. You know what? I'm going to add a little on. I think I will. This is a good size, but why not make it a little nicer? This is Jesus after all, and I do want to put a little more effort into this one. And there's nothing really to compare to, so as long as he looks like he fits with this overall style, I think I can get away with a little more detail here. So let's do this for real. All right. It looks like he does have hair, light hair. So I could just do a little bit like that. Looks like a little bit of a swirl. Why not have a cute little swirl, huh? No ears? I don't like that. I want to put little ears. Alright, let's just get a little bit of hair here. A little swirly swirl. Because it's cute. Just rolling the tool. Cute. Alright, now I like using the reverse sphere for the eye sockets just because even though I'm pushing in a little too far, maybe even the biggest one. As you can see, a bigger sphere will actually help. So I'm not trying to make the full eyeball yet. I'm just trying to push in the skull. You know, the skull piece goes back quite far. And then if I'm knowing in advance, I'm still going to pull the reverse of that out. I don't want to go too far. But I do want to get a little nose. So you can see just starting with that. And then pressing maybe a little bit down for the nose ridge. Babies, after all, don't have a big nose slope. Tool. The tool is not smooth. Why do I keep grabbing it? Let's see, I've already got a little bit of a nose ridge there, but the right way, and now pushing up a tiniest bit. Man, they really don't do much with lips, but I can't help this. I'm gonna fix this. Here's a good trick for lips. Corner, corner. People always forget about that part. 3D modeling too, it's like one of the worst things people starting out. Telltale sign is just you forget to do that corner of the mouth, and watch how quick it can be if you just do it with that first. Look, it's already making lips. Right? 3 presses. And you come in from the bottom. Boom. Telling you. And then up here, again, if you want to make it a little more accurate, you can press in up there. And now let's babify this so that it's not weird. I'm going to press it up a little bit like that. So from the side, not too defined, but you know, something. Then you can even go back to the corners like that. Like, there you go. Super simple. And then, you know, how much cheeks, you can work your way out from there. I mean, a baby's just all cheeks, right? So really what I don't want is so much around the eye socket, but I'm gonna pull the eye out of there, so let's see, less of a bony ridge above the eyebrow. A little more relaxed baby, huh? Might do a little bit of a hint at an eyebrow, even though I'm gonna paint that. Having a little hint at it's not bad in the sculpture. All right, now for the eye again, not too much detail. Let's get a little bit of a lid. Hint at it like that. And open eyes. So you see how I worked it out from the concave? Now I'm pulling it back. And here comes the uncanny. Unless you're gonna go for it with eyes, don't put too much detail. It's gonna be that weird robotic empty eye. Unless you put an iris in and a pupil in, which I might do a little hint of. That is not even. Let's see if I pull it. I'm being a little less than accurate here, but let's see. You get a little wiggle room. Can clean it up. Trying to get the clay volume in the right place first before I really do any kind of definition or even the fine-tuning of the shape around the eye. Just want it to be smooth first. Trying to leave it for the paint. I can look at that. All right. I'm going to cheat a little bit with the cheeks here because I got a little smush down, so size looks right. It's not my tool for this. So do my best not to press the top. I want to ease this back up for chin and cheeks. Yeah, there we go. That feels nice. All right, I'll take some of that age off. Get all this nice and round up here. Shapes of the cheek are very complex. Lots of angles. A little bit of angle change can change, you know, the overall look, the gender tendencies, the racial tendencies. There's so much to do with a little bit of change in the cheek, and age, of course. Well, most babies look pretty similar. But I do want this to look extra nice, so I'm trying to make it super clean. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, he's gonna get ears. All right. I'm going to put a little more clay than I know I need because I don't want to make a super thin ear. It's going to be stuck against the head, so just want to roughly get the right amount of clay. And oops, I lose make an even two pieces. Yeah, try again. Close enough. kind of press them just very lightly, put them in place, but I want to see it's balanced and then basically just ease them right in. I mean, I know why they didn't do them. They're very small, and to do them in terracotta would be pretty hard. I'm not criticizing it anyway. You see how when I pressed it in, how much smaller it got? That cute little baby. There we go. Again, for terracotta and for this size, I would be a fool to try to sculpt the ears in because even if I could, which I can, but I'm not going to because I don't want to have such a ridiculous detail level right next to the face, which doesn't have much. So we're gonna rely on a nice little painted squiggle to hint at the ear shape, and I think that will be more than enough. I could do a little bit of a press. I'm just fighting the urge to sculpt the whole ear in there, but I think a little bit of a divot, maybe even a little. I'm just trying not to make it look cartoony, you know. But a little bit of a divot is kind of right. You see how the joint around the back and everything is super loose and rounded because I want it to be solid, not a thin, realistic piece that'll break off, because that would be bad. All right, there we go. I'm just going to get them a little flatter. Just a simple little press. Boink. I think we're pretty good here. I lost a little bit of the detail on the top, which is okay. Might even do a little mess there. There we go. The back will not be seen, but you know, somebody's going to pick it up. So I'm not going to just leave it. All right, there we go. Great. Super happy with that. All right, let's get his torso just right. Oh, I'm so resisting the urge to press from the top. All right, let's just go for it. Here we go. All right, this will be more than enough to get that going, and I'll get his little arms and legs, and then we'll wrap him up. really don't need to worry too much about hands, so I'm definitely going to just do mitts. Simple mitts. I can't help it. I think you see where I'm going with this. It's going to be completely covered and smushed with the swaddle, but why not start with something a little more realistic, huh? Ah, sweet. Let's get some pudgy little legs in here. Oh, they really didn't do much. Most of them just look like little worms, which I'm not a fan. And I know when a baby gets swaddled, it squishes up, but let's get these the same. It might be too much clay. Let's see what we can do. Definitely going to scrunch up a little bit, because legs would not be just left loosey-goosey. Alright, let's go. Little foot. Yes, kitty. And babies, you know, get away with a lot of pudginess and overlap here. feet, ankle. Gonna bend them up nice and tight. Let's see, get the other one. I mean, I don't need lots of detail here. I'm just doing it out of habit. Now I can hide a little bit of the thigh against the body here, so just to suspend some disbelief here. How much cuter is that? Come on. So now I'm going to work on the outside and merge, because I like that shape. The merge being where they contact each other and the main parts. I really want to do some nice little feet, but they are going to be completely covered, so I'm just going to fight the urge here not to do any more details. So you want to get that nice tapered look, but being realistic about where the limbs go really helps you, it'll just feel more natural and right when it goes together. So using a little bit of extra clay to join together and fill the gap, because I don't want any gaps. Try to make it as clean and solid as possible. How nice is that? That'll work. Oh my gosh, look at that. Didn't realize you had a little foot thing there. So I'm going to lightly press him in and then we'll get the cloth on. The foot has multiple parts that bend, so I can do a little bit of a bend like that because I'm not assuming that the blanket's holding it tight. This knee is a little too long. It's starting to get a little distorted from what I originally wanted, but the general idea is there. Okay, let's not overwork it. Getting an hour and a half. Again, squish him in, make sure he fits. Fits nice. Put him down there. Yep, work. Alright, let's get him wrapped up. It's almost a shame to cover, but let's be accurate, and it's worth it in the end. I think I'm just going to leave as much extra as I can. Oh, maybe not that much. That's a little ridiculous. But why not? Why not do it for real? I know it looks as interesting and weird as it feels, but it's gonna work, and I'm gonna think it's gonna work. Let's find out. Actually, is that thin enough? Did I do 6? Oh, I only did 3. Okay, I want it a little thinner. Just make sure it's on 6. Yep, I think it was. mean, probably really would be wrapped and tucked, but I'm just trying to get a realistic sort of starting point here for the cloth. And I'm going to cut a little extra off and then work on the wrinkles. I think we got something though. I don't want it to be too thick or I'll lose everything I did. And there probably wouldn't be too many wrinkles on the high points. Oh my god, this song. That was its ending. So I don't want much more than one layer anywhere, so I'm just taking the extra off and then I'm going to smooth it in and then make my own folds. So I want to get that detail that I had back. I can get away with a little extra cloth at the bottom. Definitely some wrinkles in here. I mean, if you really want to do a cloth study, drape some cloth. But I'm just kind of guessing at this. I'm gonna come back at that with a tool and a different, see what kind of angles I want. And get most of this in. now that most of the cloth is on where I want it to be. I can also add wrinkles this way. The back little mess on that's bugging me. There. What I want is something smooth. Instead of leaving a gap, just filling it in where there would be a stretch. But it's a little easier to see now that I pressed it in, right? There we go. Yeah, obviously you can see that it would have been a different, I could have just pulled that out of a blob, but it was an interesting exercise to get that from a more detailed body. I'm not making Renaissance marble cloth here. I'm trying to make this look reasonably close to the other pieces in the set, but as you can see, I couldn't really help doing a little bit more. But I think it's coming together nice. Pretty happy with that. And the back is not super important, but might as well make it look like it's at least meant to fit. Just hint at the wrap part. Make it clean. There's a little stretch there. Naturally, holding this is actually going to help smooth out the roughness of these wrinkles. As you can see, it's just about right down here where I'm holding it. All right, I think we got it. All right, I think we got it. You know, I keep saying it, and then I keep doing something. Can't help it. Want to fix it. Just want to add little bits of cloth wrinkles. It looks so nice once you get them going. I mean, the only real rule is when you see something bumping out, it's a high point. Things can wrinkle off of there in different ways. Yeah. I'm just sort of guessing. Good. I like that a lot. Quite happy. All right, who's left? Oh, I think it's just Mary and her Shaw. I think I'm going to bake everything I've got, and then I'm going to start gluing them together. It's a good place to stop for now. Okay, so thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, and I'll see you soon.